basically, we'll be talking about the challenges of your job, what you've been able to do, and the experience so far as a media person going into office. And how has it been? How have you been coping?
Well, it's quite interesting in the sense that I'm an advisor. I'm not given the task of communicating government policy. I work behind the scene. I'm supposed to not to be heard nor seen. I gather political intelligence, and I advise accordingly. I try to let my principals know what is happening there on the street, what people are saying politically, who is doing what, and interpreting every actions of the key players within the party and outside the party to my principals. That's exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, and that's what I've been doing. And for me, having come from the background of journalism and having studied political science at the master's level and having been a player too in politics, I found that very challenging and not so very intriguing. It's my background has opened my eyes to quite a lot of things, and it has allowed me to read situations correctly and been able to guide them appropriately. Yeah.
At what stage would you say we are now politically? I mean, if you look back at the point at which you came in and what we've been able to do and everything, interpreting what we've been through now, what will you say, at what stage are we now?
At what stage concerning what exactly? Is it
politics? Concerning politics.
At what stage?
Concerning our political.
Oh, politics. Yes, of course. I mean, we came in 2015. We went through the 4 years. We went through another election. We managed to read correctly the political situation and been able to find traction with the citizens of Nigeria. And we got a second term. We are going through the second term now, and we are navigating our way through the very difficult terrain of politics in Nigeria. It's not easy, not quite easy, particularly on the economic front, which is not my fault, but on the political front, the president, as a result of his experience and ability to study every situation without even talking, he is very patient. He likes things to play out, understand the position of everybody involved before he then intervenes and settle political differences. So for me, it's politically, I think it's been so far so good. Yes, I said, I mean, seeing Mr. President from inside, I see a man of experience. I see a man who is very patient. I see a man who studies human beings and their peccadillos. He gives himself, enough time to look at people play out their game before he then shows his own hand. He's very patient, and I think that must have been as a result of his having been around for quite a long time. He's been in the system for quite a long time, whether as a military man, a military leader, and he was once as minister, as former head of state, and he has also spent some time in the valley, of life, and came back again to become president. So he's well experienced, So when things are going on, he doesn't rush to action. He doesn't rush to judgment. He lets all of you play your hand, and then he comes out and take a decision, and that resolves issues.
The APC as a party in power has always been under criticism from the rest of us. I mean, how do you take some of those criticisms when they come?
Well, that's also one I mean, one thing I admire about the president. You throw a lot of criticism at him. He takes it in his stride. He doesn't get angry. He just look at it as one of those things. Then he takes his notes, and then put it away and then act when he thinks it is ripe and it's the right time for him to act. It's and that's why you could not see him, ordering anybody to be locked up or shoving anybody out of the country to go on exile. He doesn't exchange words with people. He's always smiling and relaxed. So and as I said, age and experience perhaps has taught him these lessons, and I think it's working for him.
Okay, your colleagues in the PDP, meaning politicians in the PDP, are saying that when they look at the last 6 years or 7 years of the APC at the federal, that there's not much that has changed from what it was when.
well, what do you expect from opposition? If they don't do that, they won't be opposition. I mean, let's look at it and compare that to the many years of PDP in the government. But again, if they are not doing that, then they are not opposition. But I guess that if you look at the reality of it all, we are not saying that the government is perfect. We are not saying that we have meet 100% the expectation of Nigerians. But again, if you want to compare PDP performance and his own performance, then of course there is a huge world of difference. Particularly, here as a president, you cannot accuse him of theft. You cannot say he has taken Nigerian money to go and buy a house abroad. You cannot say he has bought a private jet. You cannot say he has stolen Nigerian money. No. Prior to his coming, there was a dedicated account that only the president can sign, and the guy can take millions of dollars out of that account, without anybody raising questions. When he got there, he asked the account to be shut down, and that it should not happen. Here is a government, a president that says, look, I have all the security men around me. The security agencies have their votes. What do I need security fund for? I mean, there are some states where the governors are picking 1 billion naira every month for as security votes. There are some very impoverished states monthly as security votes. And here is the president. You say, look, what do I need that for? I have all the security agencies. They have their budgets. They run their budgets. Their needs can be met, through their budget. So what am I going to then be, budgeting millions or billions of dollars to myself as security vote? For me, that is remarkable. That kind of personal example, it has really curtailed, that theft in high places in the presidency. And I'm not saying that, there is outright banishment of corruption. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that if you compare this regime with that of PDP, there is a huge difference between, their approach to corruption and this government's approach to corruption. Yeah.
As an experienced media man, when you look at the media way back and now, what's your impression? Are you satisfied? Are you?
No. I'm not satisfied. I'm not satisfied because I've been out there and I'm in there and I know a lot of things that the media could shed light on for the people, which the media is not doing. I remember in the days when I started my career as a journalist in the Guardian, when the military of state reads the budget in January, the newsroom is bustling with activities. Somebody will take on transportation, somebody will take on aviation, education, health, and we look at the budgets for each of these, ministry agencies. We tear it apart, we analyze it, we ask opinion holders to comment and all of that. You don't find that again. There are quite a lot of things, quite a lot of issues that the media ought to be enlightening the citizenry about, which is not being done. So we need to do something about the media in Nigeria. If we don't have a vibrant media, it will be difficult. Having a very vibrant government or having a very vibrant polity, there are a lot of questions that need to be raised, a lot of issues that need to be analyzed, a lot of information that needs to be sifted out for the people of this country, which the media is not doing. They are just, what they do now is just dusting off, the table. They are not digging deep. The kind of journalism I know someone like you for, and many of our colleagues, is not being practiced now, and for me, it's very sad. And that is not allowing for the growth of our democracy. Yeah.
Okay, how do you also see the social media, the coming in of the social media, which wasn't around in those good old days? Do you see it as a movement forward, or
for
how
me,
has it
it's
added?
a movement forward. It's a
Okay.
movement forward. I mean, it's I mean, you now have citizen journalists. I mean, I go on the social media, I pick up issues, information presented by non-journalists, and I find them very useful. It wasn't there in our own time. Journalists cannot be everywhere at every time, but there are people everywhere at every time. So they are adding, to the source of information. All we need to do is to find a way of regulating things to make sure that falsehood is not published. You just put on social media that somebody has killed somebody or that somebody is dead when the person is still alive. Those things are not quite very, very good. But largely for me, I've seen social media as positive. Every day now, through my Facebook account, through Twitter, through Instagram, I can communicate with millions of people. I can put my opinion forward. I can contradict other people's opinion. I can raise debates, and that for me, it's good. But for the young people, the attitude of insulting and abusing when they should debate, should stop. They should see this opportunity of engaging people from across the spectrum of life, from the lowly person to the top policymaker as an opportunity for them to engage. That, I think, it's some of the things that they should use the social media for. Yeah.
Why do you think there's been an upsurge in fake news? That's also a new development which wasn't around way back.
Again, that's one of the downside of social media. I mean, again, you cannot run away from the fact that I mean, there are madmen, every madmen and madwomen in society. People who have psychological, mental problem and all of that. Somebody just sit down in the corner of his and write down something that has not happened and then and post it for the rest of the world to read. So it's part of it, but there should be. I don't know how this could be done. I don't want to prescribe, but I think there should be a way to regulate this thing, particularly by the operators of this medium themselves. There should be a way to regulate here. And there should also be some kind of penalty.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you also respond to the complaints from the masses? People saying that, I mean, things are not okay, things are not right, they are poor or poorer for it, and all those. I mean, because I know that you also interact with the grassroots, and how do you respond? What's your explanation each time you're confronted with some of these allegations?
Allegations of what now?
No.
Allegations.
The masses complaining that I mean the situation of things in the country is tight and that there's no money.
Yeah. I mean,
unemployment.
there is no doubt that there is no doubt about that. There is no doubt about that. I have friends, I have family, I have relations who are not able to meet their responsibilities to themselves and to their family. Things are tough. Nobody. I'm not sure even the president even recognizes that. Just 2 days ago, he complained himself. He loudly about the high cost of food. I mean, the moment we recognize that there are problems, then we find a way to solve some of these problems. We are, again, I've always said something. If our governors across the 36 states can put more effort and more sincerity and honesty, like the president, this country will be a better place. We tend to put all the blames of the wrongs in our society on Mr. President. We have local government councils. We have governors, for Christ's sake. These governors and local government councils, they receive allocation every month, which they could use to ameliorate the condition of the people of this country. But do we ever ask, what do they do with this money that is allocated on a monthly basis? It cannot just be for salary. No. I mean, some of us know what goes to each of the states every month, what goes to each of the local governments every month. Are you giving good roads at the local level? Are you giving good roads at the state level? Are you providing water? Are you providing good education system? If anything happens in the corner of Bayelsa, you blame it on the president. If something happened in the corner of Jigawa State, they'll blame it on the president. What of the governor that is closer to the people? What of the local government chairman that is closer to the people? If we can put the kind of attention we are putting on the federal government, on Mr. President, if we put it on our governors, perhaps things will be better than we have now, you know?
Okay, how do you see the situation of things in your state, Ekiti State? What do
Yes.
you make of the whole
I think you should excuse me not to comment on the Ekiti State for now. I am very passionate about Ekiti State, and I've done a lot of criticism of the government in the last 2 months, and I believe the governor is responding to some of the things I pointed out, and since I do not set out to destroy the party and destroy the government, I think I should allow and give them the time to further respond and even out to people. There is a government of cabinet.
Sorry, can you take that again?
One or two things.
Can you take it again?
Yes. Yes. I mean, those who deserve. I mean, meetings of stakeholders as they called ones. You know, there is a reconciliation committee set up to reconcile everybody. You know, in conflict with the governor. He has even given out appointment to some people who worked hard for the party. He has shoveled his cabinet. A lot of other things he is trying to do. What we should do at this point is to support him, you know, to do a few things so that you know, the people can have what is called dividend of democracy. Yeah.